Thank you so much. I hope you hear me well. I'm actually talking to you from the middle of Lithuanian plenary session, and I have voting. But this is also a symbolic place for the audience. This is the parliament building that destroyed the Soviet Union. 31, actually now 32 more or less years ago, we voted against Soviet Union and for our independence. Gorbachev sent tanks. I saw them. They killed my friends. And we started rebuilding of our nation. That wouldn't be happening if not American support. You never recognized our occupation. And Senator Durbin, we call him Lithuanian Senator Durbin. Actually, he will be speaking from this podium in 5 days as we will decorate him. Because he was on the first delegation when Soviets attacked us. He went to this parliament that looked very similar to Ukrainian Rada, with all the sandbox, with some guerrilla warriors, and he saw it. He went back to old President Bush and he said, they were fighting for freedom. You know, they're being killed just for nothing. Well, he convinced President Bush to actually recognize our independence. So, to make it short, well, I represent, Timothy Snyder was calling us bloodland nations. From Baltic to Black Sea, the biggest number of people being killed for their values. You have 6 monuments in front of White House. One of them is Lithuanian. It's our General Kosciuszko. If you know the story, he was fighting for our empire because we copied your constitution 4 years after, 79 to 1. We wanted to be democratically Lithuanians and Poles, and 3 empires killed us, Prussia, Russia, and Austria. So, well, then we emigrated to America. But from that moment, we stand with you like democracy on one side of the barricade. So in our region, we know one true rule. If America is out, Russia and China is in, and they're destroying us. We are being killed. I was in Ukraine 6 times already during the war. So Vilnius would look like Bucha today. It would be just massive graves. We note, it happened not even once. My grandfather was sent, a lot of his, well, 1/3 of my nation annihilated during the Second World War, and afterwards 30,000 troops fighting as guerrilla warriors against the Soviets. The story you don't know. The last guerrilla warrior died in 1968. So we are always fighting for it. And we have some wonderful moments with you of unity. Yes, you mentioned President Reagan. Yes, he was the one to finally embrace democracy. We've been hearing his and John Paul II words. He was sending messages to us. National Endowment of Democracy was financing our first revolts, first books, first fax machines, and we did it together. We were first to revolt. So when America is standing for democracy, everything got right. Now I'm happy. I have 4 kids. I was ambassador in America. We live very well. We are shining freedom. We host Belarusian opposition leaders. Vilnius is the biggest Russian dissident center. We are the only capital where Taiwanese representation with its proper name is functioning. We are inspiring nations to do it. Actually, Maidan started in Vilnius in 2014 when Yanukovych didn't sign the association agreement. So we inspire Ukrainians, we inspire Belarusians, and we can do it still with you. But the problem is that your fight more or less ended on democracy, I would say, was 2004. Or finally, the requiem for our fight was sang in Bucharest NATO summit. When we failed, I was still Deputy Foreign Minister standing with your President Bush. We were fighting for membership action plan for Ukraine and Georgia, and we failed as the collective West because we started to take the arguments of Putin. We started to appease the dictators. And Reagan, he said it in 1966. You have it in his library in Los Angeles. If you start appeasing the Soviets, you end with final defeat. So the big West started to invest into autocracies, opening the markets to Putin. To whom? To Putin. who was killing democracy inside. And then Karamurza, who is now in prison, my good friend, we're all shouting and screaming, don't do it. Don't give them money. They will kill us. They're killing democracy. So if they kill democracy, they will start rolling tanks against us. Oh, we were right. Nobody was hearing us. You know, I went as political director to meet Dan Fried before Russia invaded Georgia. Nobody believed us. Nobody punished Putin after Georgia. No, of course, we embraced him with reset. My lovely Putin, you occupied Georgia. So nice. Let's shake the hands. Oh, let's shake the hands. So we will then kill Ukraine. So if you start appeasing autocracies like Russia and China, they grow big. And now ending with the situation, I know that, you know, I have to finish my presentation. If we lose that war in Ukraine, China is actually carefully following this process. And if we lose it, you know, we will be attacked. This parliament will be destroyed in more or less 5-6 years. We know it. This more or less takes time for Russia to regenerate its armies. And China will attack Taiwan. China will grab half of the wall, and America will be on big offensive. It will be another third world scene, another Pearl Harbor. The problem is that America is waking up so late. We are your litmus test. We are glowing red from 2002. Nobody is listening to us. Nobody was listening to us before Georgia was invaded. I was in the White House. I was trying to say, my intelligence is saying that Crimea will be taken. Oh, they said that will never happen in 21st century. Really, it happened, and it's happening now. So please listen to the frontiers of America as we are. Please embrace democracy. Cut your ties to autocracies. Make business with democracies in the Pacific region, our region. Give membership to NATO, to Ukraine and Georgia, as we are giving it candidate status just today and tomorrow in Brussels, and arm Baltic states in Madrid. Unfortunately, Americans are not very good to support us. We are asking your permanent presence in the Baltics. We are asking at least brigade-sized presence, and America is not supporting. This is the reality of today. Thank you.
Ambassador, thank you so much for that. And I think you're painting a very stark picture, but you're doing it from the vantage of a front row seat in history. Let's follow up on that thread for a moment. What do you think the lessons are that China is learning? And in some ways, one could say the Chinese sort of model of being a superpower is very different than how Russia's approached, right? Things. Russia has invaded Georgia, it has invaded Ukraine, and it seems like in many cases China has had a different model. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and what we should in this forum, based on your experiences, be looking for? What are the things we should be concerned about, and what should we be doing?
Okay, just last remarks from my side. You have to be very clear. You don't have to play double games, like you're still playing with Taiwan. You know, we just ask Washington, why don't you call Taiwan Taiwan? Why do you call Taiwan Taipei? Because you invite China to occupy Taipei, actually. Because Taipei is just a little city, and Taiwan is an island. So do you invite, for them to occupy? Because, we've been surviving those occupations. And it's just a holy see in Europe having a normal embassy of Taiwan. We call it Taiwan representation. So embrace Taiwan now. Build alliances with remaining democracies, because we are dying for 15 years. For 15 years, read Freedom House reports. We are dying. We are dying tribe, actually. Create a military alliance with democracies like Meeting Steinmeier. You know what I mean. We have about 40 or more defense ministers together with Ukrainians. Arm democracies now, before it's not too late. Autocracies are coming and killing us. China will do what they want after learning Russia's successes in Ukraine. Little example, Lithuanians revolted, and we stepped down from so-called 17+1 format created by China. Finally, after 1 year, Prague is following us. But why do we stay in those formats? We're asking Poles, we're asking Latvians and Estonians. This is a format to divide us from Americans and Europeans. Because all those autocracies have just one aim, to get rid of America and the region. You don't feel it maybe, but you are their worst enemies, not us, not Ukrainians, you. They want you to be deleted from this area. They want their standards of slavery and murky, corrupt business to prevail, because that's the only way, like Putin-run mafia in Moscow survives, by killing and stealing. The same is done by China. So if you want your standards to preserve, if you want United Nations ideals to survive, you have to arm and invest, and to be very clear with democracies, and stop playing games with autocracies, stop shaking hands of dictators, stop embracing and empowering them economically, because actually you create enemy that will destroy you. You know what's communists saying? Lenin was saying, we know, those guys, that the West are so stupid that they will buy the rope and they will hang themselves. So you are doing exactly this. Congratulations.
Uyuyan milletler ya ölür ya da köle olarak uyanır.